So this video is a bit of an energy update, but it's also to do with the retrograde that's just landed. So in this video, I'm going to be talking more about how that energy is going to affect you, especially if you're a conscious creator and you just got things on the go, you're a business owner, whatever it might be. If you've got stuff that you are working on and then you're ready to kind of like make it happen, I'm just going to ask you to just pull back just a little bit and I'm going to explain to you why. It's all good though. It's all good. So just to rewind a little bit, we started off with the, about a week ago, not this weekend just gone, the weekend prior, we started to feel the energies of the new moon eclipse coming in. Shan't go into it. Did my last video with the crash helmet on. That's all you need to know. And it was all about, you know, much of a muchness, purge, 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 dark night of the soul, same old, but really intense. So if you want to know more about that, go back to that video. But I just want to bring you through. So we go through the new moon eclipse, okay? And then kind of like as the week went on, it kind of like feathered out a little bit, all right? But then when we got to the weekend just gone now, basically meaning the 29th and the 30th of October, the 29th, some energy started to blow in. And what will happen is like people started to feel very much in the physical, the energy purges started to like really kick in. And what does that look like? You may have been suffering and may still be, because I know I am, very gurgly solar plexus. Okay, so solar plexus is 2 fingers below the rib cage and it's all to do with your center of will, your seat of power, I always think, you know, and it's basically where your negative emotions are stored. And it's also connected on a physical level to your digestive system. So we have got a lot of purging coming out of that. Even now, my stomach is not right. A lot of people have had upset stomachs and just feel generally unwell with this nausea. Also, upper respiratory stuff going on as well. Purging's purging, but I do know that the stomach area is a big thing. So if you have that, just understand why, what is going on. Eat very light, little bits often, lots and lots of water, and sleep. And, you know, sleep is a big thing. You know what I mean? I've just been so tired and that's okay. That's okay because the body's just doing what it needs to do. And of course, it's always a given. You're going to get your shady shit that comes up all the time, which is basically your dark night of the soul stuff. We know all about that now. Do you know what I mean? So whatever you got going on with you, it might be firing on fleek still because we're still purging. We're still clearing this shit out. So now the weekend just gone. On the 29th, we felt that energy come in. Now the 30th, Mars went into retrograde. Now, I am not one to follow retrogrades. I'm not one to really talk about it because, like, you know, it's always regarded as such a negative thing, which it kind of is because retrograde causes like chaos and everybody does an eye roll and a body sink when retrogrades come in because it's like, you know, payments will get lost, paperwork will go wrong, never sign on a deal or do a handshake because that deal's going to be like disastrous. You know, like flights, if you've booked a flight to travel, that's usually a disaster. That's the kind of thing that can happen. So I don't like to engage in it too much because it's not always just about that, you know, whatever. So whatever you focus on, you'll bring into your reality. So just be mindful of that. So, but I want to talk about how it affects our conscious creations. All right. So retrograde, even though it's about it going backwards, even though I'm not an astrologer, so please forgive me for my very basic knowledge of what goes on up there. I know what goes on down here, but it's basically retrogrades is when it appears. The planets don't really go backwards, but it appears it has an energy. It looks like it is, but it's not really. But it gives that energy down here on base camp, a feeling of just kind of like going backwards and it causes chaos. And what does that mean? It means that you're going to go back to revisit shit that you don't want to revisit. You're going to go back and be over the same old issues, so you think, but you're not. You're going back there to clean up, you know? So that's where retrograde is kind of like a bit of a like, okay, here we go. So that could be happening to you as well. Stuff that you thought that you cleared may be like up front and center and you're not going crazy at all. It's a revisit, but for good reason. But it's not fruitless. You're moving up the spiral very rapidly. There's just a couple of things you've just left behind that you don't understand, right? So that's what's happening. Now, as far as conscious creations go, I've been feeling this a lot where I have been feeling with my creations out there in the world, you know, it's been full steam forward. This is what I'm doing. These are my systems in place and this is how I'm doing it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, this isn't working. Is it that my idea or my conscious creation is actually incorrect and I may have got it wrong? Absolutely not. The vision is wonderful. My vision is great. You know what I mean? It's like the idea, you know, of what I want to share with the world, you know, like the Egypt tours, even my videos or whatever, you know, one-on-one sessions. It doesn't matter. What I share with the world The idea is great, and I'm happy with that. But for me, what's happened is the pathway. So remember, I speak about portals, pathways, and platforms. So the portal is the idea. The pathway is basically how you hold your creation, your business, your project. You know, what systems do you put in place to kind of like build it, make it happen? And then, of course, the platform is what it looks like in the world. So I'm talking about this middle bit here. This is where many of us are being asked to pull back a little bit now. And that is what retrograde's bringing us. It's not about me jumping straight to the platform and going, come on, push the idea. It's got to happen now into fruition. No. What they're saying and what the gift of retrograde is the idea you already have needs to be upgraded. And the only way you're going to understand that is by pulling back, disengaging, sitting. I mean, stillness is up front and center. We are being called to just be still, listen. Time as well. Time is a big bugger at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Because we are so invested in time, and it's a human construct and it's illusion. Time is the thing that will trigger your most deepest doubt, your most deepest fears. Because as soon as you put a time constraint on something, you're setting yourself up for failure. That is the only reason that time exists. Take that off the table. Where are you? Present moment. In the moment, everything's fine. Just carry on doing what you're doing, or not being still. You see what I'm saying? So take that off. So now you have this amazing idea and you're finding it a little bit difficult to kind of push forward through these energies. So don't push forward. Maybe you need to come back. So you want to sit there and re-strategize. And I mean this in a very, very practical sense. Even your life, even if you're not out there doing an active creations like myself or a business or whatever, in your life, what are you trying to move forward to? Are you trying to do up your house? Are you trying to create a family? What is it that you are trying to create in those realms? And if it's a little bit sticky, it's not that you are failing, because that's the first place we go to. We go, oh my God, I'm failing. This is all going wrong. I must have just completely been misinformed. I'm failing. It's not. It's a re-strategizing. So if you're being pulled back to think about that and it's not failure, what does it mean? It means that there is a much bigger, better 2.0 version of what you're doing ready to come to you. Because think about what your idea is or was. Think about it. Now, let me tell you, it's way bigger than that, like way bigger. I mean, I don't know what mine looked like, but I just know deep in my heart that I am being shown, I'm being redirected. And if I don't sit down and listen, that right redirection is not going to land. If I keep trying to push through with the old systems, which, by the way, I created in my shadow purging dark night of the soul work, which actually came from last year. Last year, I started to create the Tablets of Light tour and started to bring my creations through full on. And yeah, it worked in that energy level. But now the energy is shifting. So I can't run that old program for that divine creation in this timeline because the energy is higher. So of course it's got to change. But the only way that I can receive guidance for it to change is by sitting still and actually going back to my pen and pad, having a few conversations, sitting still. The last 2-3 days, I haven't been very well, but I've been super still and I've disengaged from everything here. Do you know how much guidance has come through? Do you know how much vision, clear vision that I now have on the bigger picture, which I didn't realize that there was more? So the importance of slowing down, following the retrograde guidance, because it is a gift for you to re-strategize, come back. I mean, look, I'm saying that like your idea is perfect and it's just the way that you're trying to put it together out there. Maybe it's the people you're working with. Maybe the idea is not big enough, but that then takes me back to the original, which is the portal stage, you know, the activation stage of the idea. Maybe your vision isn't clear. Do you know what I mean? So whereabouts do you fall in the process? You know, the creative process. Whereabouts are the blocks, right? And I'm going to go into this because this is Hecker Code's work. And I'm going to go into that in my next video. So watch out for that, because this video of this template that I'm talking about, which is a divine template for creation, is really powerful. And I'm just going to basically like talk about it very basic now. So, you know, your portal, your pathways, your platform, all right, which matches up with the Egyptian frequencies, which is the god Seer, that is vision, and the god Hu, which is speaking it into being. And then you've got Hecker, who is the god of magic and medicine, who activates all of those. That's like the high magic stuff. But the basic stuff on how to create a successful project and have it come into longevity is basically portal, pathways, and platforms. It's the same thing. So basically, it may be that you've got issues in your portal. Okay, so what was the vision? Maybe the vision's slightly off. Or is it the pathway? What are you doing? If the vision's good, what are you doing in the pathway that's not quite right? or maybe you're pushing to land it on the platform too soon. But either way, whatever this may be landing with you, okay, what you're trying to create in your life, you've got to come back. Because the retrograde energies are not supporting any of us to go thundering forward now and land everything. Because even if you do, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be 10 times more hard work, like really hard. And it's going to be quite arduous and sticky. And then guess what? Like as of like probably January 2023, it's going to be completely upgraded anyway. And you're going to go, well, I did all that work. And like, you know, and that wasn't what it was. It was only half the idea. I should have just sat and listened to Marie and just let everything just like, you know. So this is a time for introspection. I'll go through it. Introspection, stillness, re-strategizing, okay? Being loving kindness, kind enough to yourself to be able to let go of the grind because you're actually not creating anything because you're working against the energies, and be in stillness to do all the above, re-strategize. So that's basically the retrograde energies. I mean, like, you know, we did say in the very beginning that we were going to be purging and doing all of this deconstruction or disintegrating to reintegrate. We were going to be doing all of this, okay, until the end of the year. So it's on point at the end of the day. So I think that my wise words for the end of this video is just be very, very in tune with what's going on inside of you, and sit in stillness like often and have a conversation with yourself, with counsel. I'm finding that I need to be less here. I need to be listening more because I feel that there's very, very, very powerful divine intervention, intuition, channel coming through of us. Whether you're like me and you can tap in or whatever, we can all tap in. Your guides will find you in different ways, okay? Whether you're just a businessman doing a really good business, well, you'll still get divine guidance from above, okay? So none of us are null and void to this redirecting, this voice in our ear, you know? Because like, that's how it works. So stillness, go back to the drawing board, have a listen, see if everything is airtight. Maybe you need to upgrade. I don't know. Sit, listen. That's it. And that's all. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I'm going to go and do that Heka video now. So watch out for that because I'm going to go into the depths of basically this divine template that helps you create. It's really powerful. Anyway, love and light, y'all. Have a good one, whatever that might be.